Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Max here with another great business discussed on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Tom, and he's selling his display advertising and Amazon Associates business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Tom. How are you doing today?
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much, Max, for having us on the call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing more about your business.
Yes, indeed.
So before we do that, let's just give a brief summary of the business. It is a display advertising and Amazon Associates business in the technology niche, created in March 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $2,610 per month and makes an average of $2,607 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 48094 to learn more about the business. Included in the sale is the domain and all the site content files, an additional domain, social media accounts including Twitter, Facebook and Pinterest, and the SOPs. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, Tom, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I started my first site and really got into SEO when I was 13. I'm now 28 and just a lot of different websites. Bought and sold a lot of them as well, and built some pretty large authority sites in the past 6 years or so. Predominantly been in affiliate marketing, and from being an SEO from such a young age, that's our primary traffic source sites is SEO. So and we're at today with this site.
And you've purchased this business, so can you tell us a bit about why you decided to do that and when that was?
Yeah, so I purchased the business about a month ago for this particular site, and the reason for relisting it and selling it was basically because my business partner then remembered that he was actually in the same niche. So pretty much sort of a week or 2 weeks in to committing to buy it, I then realized he was in the direct same niche, and then obviously it's too late to pull out of the deal, which is fine. So obviously it's up for sale again because of that. If he wasn't in that niche, there's no way I'd be selling it. The reason why I bought it is I have a very, very strict set of criteria that I go through when buying a site, and this one just ticked all the boxes in regards to what I was looking for. It's on it's the perfect age. It's over a couple of years old. The organic traffic is very, very strong. The content is decent. The research that has previously been done is really good. The whole site is topically relevant. Yeah, it's just got great backlink structure, very natural, and it's in a solid position for us to build on top of. And I feel that there's a lot of scope in this niche as well as. So basically, we're just buying quite a lot of sites up in different niches. I'm not in this niche at all. And then obviously realizing that, I've then said to him, okay, right, I'm putting this straight up for sale. I don't want any clashes between us. So that's the primary reason for buying and primary reason for selling.
And did you have any sort of interest in this niche, or is it just more business side of things?
Yeah, more business side of things. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And how does this site sort of primarily make money?
So it's primarily through Amazon Associates, and then I've basically leveraged sort of status with other websites into getting a particular ad account that earns a lot of money over Google AdSense. So I've really added value to the site in the short time of owning it. That was my primary reason for buying it, due to the traffic that it had. I knew that we could just add another revenue stream without needing to change much at all. So that's that one.
And why sort of choose this business model? What's so good about the Amazon Associates and display advertising?
So with Amazon Associates in this particular niche, I don't see it getting reduced any more than it is now. If they did then reduce it, then you can just go direct to the actual manufacturers and actually get a much better deal anyway. But it's already on a pretty low tier percentage. So pretty much in this niche, I would be more than happy to leave it on Amazon Associates. Just so easy to make money with Amazon in that respect. It's just, one account and they just pay you each month. So that is very appealing in that sense. In terms of like other niches with Amazon Associates, I'm very much more wary with it, but this niche is definitely a tick in the box for that. In terms of, display advertising, it's just easy. There's no additional work that you need to do. The actual ad website, I guess you'd call them, the network, they actually optimize the ads all the time to try and get you the best RPM. So again, you're just generating income off traffic that's already there.
And where does the majority of this traffic come from, sort of that goes to your websites?
It's through Google. Google.com is the main source of traffic, as with most sites.
And as a sort of fairly recent purchase, is there many updates that you've managed to do?
Yeah, so when we sort of realized, okay, we can't then sort of cancel out the transaction, as we do with all sites when we onboard them, is we just do like a basic amount of links and match that with a basic amount of new content. So we've just done a sort of drip feed of outreach links, so proper outreach links, not PBNs, no spammy stuff, just sort of the best links you can find, and match that with the best content writers that we have as well.
And those content writers, is that sort of people that work specifically on this site, or is that people that come from your sort of company as a whole?
Yeah, they come from our company. So we actually use our writing agency, so those details can be passed on to the buyer as well.
And are there any employees for this site in particular?
No, it's literally just uploading content, so that can be taught to any VA really.
And can you describe the amount of work that you do on this site for maintenance?
None, pretty much. I don't think I've done anything on it. Maybe besides, actioning, can you create this amount of content? Can you do this number of links? Yeah, I mean, if I was to keep it, I'd be diving in a lot more, kind of figure out a content plan, pages that we'd like to send more links to, ways that we could optimize things further and things like that. But, obviously owning the site a month or so, I really haven't done a lot.
And you've briefly gone into it there, but if you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
Yeah, great question. I've got a set list of stuff that I can provide in detail to the buyer based off previous sites that we've owned, previous sites that I've built. But on like a high level basics of it, again, I would find pages to re-optimize, find products to update, get better conversion rate basically, find out which pages are low hanging fruits that could take just, one or two links to then go onto the first page and start really ramping up the income. Yeah, potentially things like speeding up the site, just doing a cleanup basically, from the previous owner.
And what do you think are some of the biggest risks associated with a site like this that a buyer should be aware of?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think in terms of the risks, I think the whole Amazon Associates thing is, as I mentioned before, is a lot less of a risk than it is on some of the other niches where they've brought it down from 8% to 3%, for example. That's quite a big drop. I think, in terms of the advertising, again, that is very little risk on that front. I think the main risk, as with a lot of these sites, really is Google fluctuations. So, just general Google updates, but that can be countered easily with quality content and quality links. So, if you're sort of going down the PBN route, it is then quite a lot more risky in my eyes. So, quality content, quality links, and you really can't go wrong.
And if someone was to come in for this business, how much support would you be willing to offer? Is that sort of email support?
Yeah, I mean, I can do a couple of Skype calls. I'm more than happy to do that and sort of share my knowledge a bit. Yeah, and emails back and forth, for the first 30 days, that's totally fine. It's super, super simple site. It's very, very easy to run. Yes, there shouldn't really be too much back and forth, really. But I'm more than happy to help.
Yeah, and sort of something we like to do towards the end of this is maybe just give a bit of advice to people. So when you run a business like this, is there any software or tools that really help you?
I would say Ahrefs. Yeah, it's been a bit suspect probably the past 6 months in terms of like looking at the charts and things like that. It's not accurate by any means. So I would have highly recommended that before, but I only use Ahrefs for keyword research now. So I'd use Ahrefs for keyword research, SEMrush for tracking to an extent in terms of keywords and stuff like that. Even then, you really don't need it. And then the main thing really is Google Analytics and Search Console. That's where you get the most amount of data that's, direct from Google. That's sort of the most accurate information that you can find. So certainly don't be reliant on Ahrefs. Yeah, apart from that, decent servers. I guess Cloudways is decent. But really don't use much more software than that.
No, there's some good ones in there, definitely. And so what advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started running online businesses?
Oh, great question. I think don't just start one site. Start multiple sites if you can afford it. So I'd probably start 3 different sites, 3 different niches, and ideally 3 different revenue paths, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't, for example, start 3 sites, or even I wouldn't start just one site in Amazon in one niche, because things may, sometimes Google prefers one site over another, starting out a brand new site, or, one revenue source may shut down and things like that. I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket. I would split things up and start doing a few different sites at the same time. Increase your chance of success.
Yeah, and sort of last 2 questions from me. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think that this business is a business worth buying?
Yeah, great question. So I think I've really kind of touched on that a lot in sort of at the start of this call, but yeah, it's in a very, very solid position to basically build off. So again, the sort of metrics that I use when buying a site is extremely specific. So I wouldn't put my money into a site that I didn't think was going to do really, really well. And I think there's so much scope in the niche as well. There's so many keywords that you can go after. You can, go slightly outside of the niche as well and still grow a lot. So I can actually provide a whole bunch of keyword research that we did then after, once we knew we were going to sell it anyway. So I have all that data ready that you could just create content off of. Yeah, the site is still very small in comparison to what it could be. It's got a good amount of power, a good amount of links. Yeah, and it can just be grown so much more.
Yeah, this all sounds great. Is there anything else that you would like to share finally that I might have missed?
Only stuff I guess I've missed in that. One thing that I would add is I would go after creating evergreen content, because obviously we've got the ads on there. You're diversifying away from Amazon a lot more. So if you have content that's ranking and it's for evergreen keywords, normally they're a lot easier to rank, first of all. And secondly, obviously it's going to bring a lot of traffic and a lot of ad revenue. So it's basically just another traffic source that's away from Amazon, diversify the risk and get a secondary income. So that was the total idea with the site, which is why we turned that ad network on with it. So yeah, that's definitely a really good way of building things up. And then ultimately the site will be worth a lot more with 2 large revenue streams.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, thanks for jumping on a call today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, everyone, thank you for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 48094. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business, and I'll see you in the next episode.